Heavy wooden doors, more than twice your height, stand. The lock turns easily. You hear a click as the shackle pops open.
Let's go.
As you do, you hear the echo of the doomed commercial area, its black holes and dusty machines. A great whoosh of air rushes into the dark innards of the church, as though rushing to fill a great vacuum in the heart of the city. In white, silver, and apricot faience, the young mother of humanism stands above you. A crack runs across her body. She is impossibly tall, oval-faced and sad, a dark and radiant majesty. This is her innocence, Dolores Day. Cradled in her arms are a pair of glowing lungs, clearly visible from underneath her flowing dress. Cold wind seeps in from the crack in the glass. Snowdrifts cover the floorboards at your feet. Above, you feel her as if under a microscope. As that bitter thought passes through your head, the lieutenant draws an X-shaped cross from shoulder to shoulder with 3 fingers. Good call. She left us all in the shits. Don't give her a single thing. Just stand there in the apricot-colored light of the window, secretly grinding your teeth. The woman smiles her distant smile, unmoved, struck in half by the crack in the glass. The shards glimmer in the dark. You see little pearls of light on the edges of the crack that splits the female figure. Something was written there. Remains of broken letters line the emulsion. What it said, despite the damage you've done to yourself, the title appears lodged in your hippocampus. This is Her Innocence, Dolores Day. The innocence of humanism, internationalism, and the welfare state. No amount of Commodore Red can wipe her sad smile from your brain thing. It has survived the deluge and haunts you still, and will haunt you forever, as it haunts all men. The highest category of historic individual, an embodiment of the world spirit. More, an innocence is elected to office by the founding party, a precedent that has taken place a mere 6 times in the entirety of history. The legal system of the real and innocence is infallible. The decisions made by one are not decisions. They are inevitabilities. What would have happened anyway? Only accelerated, packed into decades. No, we are alone. 300 years ago, in the wake of the discovery of this Isola, the Insulindian, by explorers from the continent of Muindi, she is, among other things, the innocence of inter-isolary travel. Many things, you know she was a woman of the court, the wife of an influential Marchese, and eventually the principal advisor to Irene la Navigateur, Queen of Serene, draped in ancient sadness. Are you sure you want to remember this bit of historic trivia? Standing under...
Yes! Big bummer! Boring history! Gotta keep it light, man! Keep it moving! Get fucked up instead!
Terribly, women of the court were expected to play both contract bridge and chess sufficiently well to prove an interesting challenge, she made the most of her position in the anti-DeLorean court. A court visited by the most prominent thinkers and artists of the day, she was an almost preternaturally magnetic and intelligent individual. To her contemporaries, she appeared out of time. It was on her advice that Irene Le Navigateur sponsored a number of voyages into the Pale. A costly, she was crowned 2 years after the first expedition returned, setting in wow indeed. When her innocence was declared, and the queen she had advised for years fell on her knees before her, she was so over. Bystanders reported golden filaments lighting the already sunlit chamber around her. Clearly, that is why the lungs are the symbol of love for the cultures of the Real Belt. As did we all. The lands of the Mesque and the Occident, and even far away Supremwindi. Altogether, 21 of the 40 Mundial in a city called Advesperaskit in Vespa Messina, her homeland. The name of the city means evening comes, but she was dressed in a white and pearl dress on an emptied-out plaza with the crowd far away. Already, her Theriers, the secret servicemen of the Innocents, were worried about. Oh yes, she looked like humanity's young mother, a perfect mother, insultingly beautiful. It was as if her face and shoulders and hands were covered in a soft down of midwinter snow was beating the cobblestones around her. A small attaché of officials stood by as her Theriers placed a white gold wreath on her head. The crowning was mostly one of the men in this secret service killed her 22 years later. A young man who had come to suspect that Dolores something that had walked in our midst, watching us stumble for hundreds, if not thousands of years, until Dolores Day was shot in the chest with a fowling piece 8 times. The man, thought to be insane, said he once touched her and her body had been unnaturally warm, like a furnace, and this inhuman quality was witnessed by many others as well, glowing lungs and all. It is terrifying, is a term too emotionally charged. Terrifying. It's a simple word. She was bad for humanity, and you shouldn't have started thinking about her. You already do. Although she is often considered to be the greatest human being to ever live, she was the most socially secluded and least self-aware of all the Innocences. Some modern thinkers would consider her a war criminal. The Mesque state tried to detach itself from Innocentic rule. Parts of the world were experiencing whiplash from accelerating into secularism. Her mandatory education programs suggesting those who fight against it are not part of humanity. She adored chess, yes, but also military war games. Dolores Day often holds a tiny tin soldier between her. Little is known of her Marchese husband. It's as if he vanished from history after completing his role, which was to introduce Dolores Day to court. This subtle terror is part of her iconography.
Lieutenant Yefrater, you've stood there for over 5 minutes. What are you thinking of, if I may ask? She's been dead for 300 years. I am almost 1,000 persons sure. None of this is, in fact. This church, the coast. The old woman in the village was right. This must be the DeLorean Church of Humanity in Martinez. Or it's a minor landmark, not easy to find. Most maps misplace it. It was built not long after Revachol's founding.
On the coast of an uninhabited archipelago where only animals had roamed before, in the wild reeds.
There used to be 7 stave churches on the coast. Les Sept Sœurs, they call them. The 7 Sisters. Only one remains. The rest were. We should be respectful here, although the building appears to be deserted. I do not believe we'll find anything connected to the lynching here. Something else, perhaps?
Respectful? Is the lieutenant a follower of DeLoreanism? There it is again. A small pang of guilt. It's time to ask him what happened here.
I have a theory, yes. There was a police raid a while back. I heard the place was shot to pieces. The old woman in the village was being tactful with us when she didn't mention it. She has more respect for the RCM than many around here. Well, your station was involved, I hear, although I can't be sure.
How come the lieutenant isn't sure? Is this confidential information?
3 precincts were involved in the raid, and people say Precinct 41 was one of them. I'm sorry, I'm not saying you were. It was a clandestine operation. I don't know anything about it, why it was conducted or who participated. I try not to pry into extra-district matters. Good luck. You will not get information on a confidential operation from your station secretary just by calling. If you really don't remember, it might be better to keep this one forgotten. It happened a while ago. It's unimportant to our business in Martinez now. Yes, we all are. Her name, body, and rule are synonymous with humanism. The laws we enforce are Delorian in origin. It's not spiritual, it's constitutional. The Delorian system does not demand faith, only accordance.
machine stands in the corner, watched over by the figures on the stained glass window. It's turned on and quivering with soft electricity.
Another radio computer. And this time it's already turned on.
These machines sometimes harbor traps, he thinks.
We should leave. I doubt this place bears any connection to the case. It's also quite similar to the one we have down at the station. Must be the same model.
A quaint little box of radio waves. You see fluorescent play and print buttons on the keyboard. A hatch connected to the central compartment is the lieutenant says nothing. You see the machine's glowing frame reflected back from his diamond-shaped glasses. You're free. Behind the hatch sits a cube-like crisscross of filaments, smoldering in the dark like fireflies. Still another filament memory. Press play to talk with the repeater. A bar of fabric right above the keyboard starts producing a soft hum. The static gets louder, slowly filling up the abandoned hall until a voice.
Good afternoon, Fortress accident on Saint-Brune. This is the East Indian Repeater Station 1. Please repeat. Is this the personal log? I have two machines registered to this company name in Martinez.
Saint-Brune, that's the church. And Rue de Saint-Guylaine, that's the doomed commercial area.
Anything else I can help you with? The filament you have inserted into the core. I don't know. That's what I'm asking. Is this the personal log? If you are unsure, could you please take a look? Open the hatch on the compartment. Don't touch the wires. A current is running through it. But good. Please repeat the password.
Let's look around. There's no use trying to guess the answer.
No.
A hint system is not part of the protocol for repeater stations.
I am contractually obliged to protect the privacy of the filament holder, Fortress.
I'm afraid we are not doing that. Unless we want to wait for a month.
Now, can you please repeat the password? Received. I will register this login attempt. Fortress accident. Is there anything else I can do for you today? Yes, I am alive. I am 74 years old and my name is Yvonne.
She repeats passwords. Programming people are all paranoid.
I work as a repeater at the East Indian Repeater Station. As for me, well, I am sitting in my cubicle, surrounded by a wall of radios.
Doesn't it get lonely, sitting there all by herself?
Lonely? Why would it get lonely?
That's why she does this.
Now, please tell me if there's anything else I can do for you, Fortress Accident. Goodbye, Fortress Accident.
The machine's keyboard is still illuminated. Nothing happens. Someone has left an unidentifiable article of clothing on this railing. It smells really bad. It's streaked with dried seagull shit and tangled with pieces of seaweed. A dangling arm, it seems likely that it was left in the surf until someone laid it out on this fence to dry.
Please tell me you're not taking that with you. A clue? You think our suspect is a seagull who's been defecating on unsuspecting jackets? Me neither.
You should still take it. The smell. It's awful and familiar. Don't you recognize it? That hideous pungency, that faintly cloying sweetness. Only something cold wakes in the pit of your stomach, the signs of decaying meat. It announces itself from 24 meters away. The lieutenant has already brought a handkerchief to his nose. There's some tear, an empty cigarette package, and a crumpled kebab wrapper in the two empty bottles of Tallulah vodka and a can of black potent porter. No, there's more in there. Livis strawberry liquor, plus some Pilsner bottles too.
A tragedy.
He shakes his head with genuine sadness. Whoever tossed it here was a heavy smoker. The brand name reads Red Astra. Red Astra is the black market version of Astra cigarettes, known for their high tar content. You see traces of mayonnaise and ketchup on it, as well as a tomato wedge. The wrapper reads Shish Kebab Revachol. It's no older than a day or two. No mold yet. It's hard to concentrate in the smell. A man lies on the boardwalk, his limbs bent and neck turned at an unnatural angle. Right next to him is an empty bottle of spirits. The smell is not as bad as a 2-week-old corpse, but it's definitely heading there.
Hold on. Lividity is faintly pronounced. Whoever this is, he's been dead for 2 days. No longer.
Another dead body. This is your job. Steel yourself. Calm now. Carefully. Just another day. Just another dead body. Breathe. He's wearing mud-caked boots, beige trousers, and an old brown leather jacket with a bright blue lining. There are traces of kebab sauce on his chest. You find some sunflower seeds and a rain-soaked library card folded into two. His jacket feels sodden and heavy under your hand.
Good. We should take a look at that library card after this is done.
The man has fallen through a crack in the boardwalk and hit his head against the metal bench. Coagulated blood covers his black hair. A bad fall. It might have been dark outside. This place is a minefield in the dark. His expression is dull, like the sea behind him. Drops of water shining on his mustache. His eyes empty and wide. Height 170 to 175 centimeters. Curly hair. Stout build. Age he was confused when he died. Confused and alone, most likely. Overcome with the awful surprise of it all. He was just about to head home. The first step back home proved to be his last. That's what the chewing gum seems to point to as well. There's some dried blood on the metal bench, right where the corpse's head rests. The floorboards are rotten and slippery wet around the hole. A dried chunk of blood covers the hair at the back of his head. An open wound. It's sticky and cold to your touch. This is what killed him. This is where he came out of himself, drop by drop, when he...
I don't see any other major wounds, do you? Seems like the head wound was fatal. It's exactly the shape of the bench.
They screech under your feet ominously. It's hard to say whether the dead man's weight was the cause of the boardwalk to break. You see waves churning below. Something cracks beneath your feet. He could have easily disappeared into the sea through that hole, and you would have never found him. A .75 liter Tallulah vodka with its cap missing. There's hardly anything left inside.
Tear all around us.
Grabowski spearmint chewing gum. Green leaves on the cover. The man's mouth is half agape from the terror of the fall. The blackness of death. Stench. You think you see white chewing gum too?
He ate the whole pack, right? It's to cover the smell of alcohol before going home. I've seen it before. Almost the same scenario. Even the chewing gum. It's always the same.
The entire boardwalk creaks in the wind as you take a step back.
Looks like one of the locals. He'd have to know this spot to come here. You don't just walk over here. But that's just a lazy assumption. What do you think?
This is an omen, a sign from above. Don't start drinking again.
We do know that he was married. But you're right. Let's not run ahead. For now, all we know is that he's an unidentified middle-aged man found dead on the Martinez boardwalk. Death by misadventure. He slipped and fell through the boardwalk. A truly unfortunate accident. If it wouldn't have been for that bench, he'd be alive. No, I don't see anything that points in that direction. For now, let's treat this case as a simple, albeit sad, accident.
Agreed. If this somehow converges later, why not? But
Oh yes. Some symptoms of acute alcohol poisoning could have definitely played a role here. Severe confusion, respiratory depression. But I think that death arrived through head trauma, not liver failure. What about it? The deceased ate some kebab. It's probably from a nearby place.
sometimes a kebab is just a kebab.
It does seem to be a pretty straightforward misadventure, although there's still a question of identifying the body. From where I stand, I can see two options. We either take the case and follow the leads to identify the body on our own, or we report back to the station and leave this for our colleagues to handle. A field autopsy isn't necessary if the cause of death doesn't appear to be criminal. And I'd say we should just write down head trauma in the autopsy report and leave it at that. It would save us at least 2 hours of unnecessary work. Maybe, but we don't really have much time or resources to spare. Alright, we should first examine the library card you found. Then we can call the station from my kinema.
You take the legal documents out of the envelope. A 12 to 40 month construction period and the zoning plan in the addendum. Underneath all, there is no loophole. The simple truth is, the current residents are going to lose their street access, and for the next 12 to 40 months, their lives will be dominated by constant construction.
Of course, I should have seen it. Evrard probably has eyes on us, but if the second signature were to be somehow...
He won't say it outright, but he's suggesting forgery.
Forgery, yes. It would render the document invalid. It's not the sort of act I would normally encourage, but under the circumstances, if done discreetly, it may be the only way to save what's left of the village.
Or you could try to trick Everard. Get someone random to sign the document. By the time the union boss finds out, your business here will already be concluded. The library card is folded into two and still slightly wet to the touch. The front side reads, Billy is a unisex name. Could be the deceased or his family member. Whoever owns this card is an avid reader. You find a list of books written in blue pencil. Radio thriller. Most of these titles seem to be in the sci-fi genre. If lost, please return the card to the library. Dial.
Good. We should give them a call from my kinema. See if we can learn anything about Billy Méjean.
And Mikhail noticed the windows, especially with how there are no windows on the south side. This was to deal with. You officers, come to investigate the historic subtext of West Martinez? I'm Tran Heilostam. You must be Kim Kituragi, right? I was just telling my son about this building.
Nice to meet you.
No, I can't say that we've met before, but I've heard of Kim, of course. Mikhail, say hi to the officers. Mikhail's a little tired today. We spent all night trying to run Orbis on his radio computer. Have you heard of it? It's a programming language used in Grad. Quite tricky, but he wanted to play this Grad-made adventure.
The man speaks in the artificial cadence of a professor, or someone who's been on too many radio shows.
But I assume you're not here for giant worms when there are so many real things to see. Just as I was telling Mikhail before, this is where the Coalition landed in '08.
This man is your half-brother. You feel it. But why? Well, get a load of this guy. He really enjoys his trivia. The Orbis programming language was named after its inventor, Victor Orbis, a cybernetician from Grad.
Aha! But it's not just any empty old building. What not a lot of people know is, this used to be the R&D department of Felt Electrical. And Felt, which now sells ink cartridges mostly, was once a top dog in the turn-of-the-century cybernetics boom.
Hold on. What's R&D?
Apologies, it's an acronym for research and development. They don't use it anymore. You're probably more familiar with RTD, research and technological development.
Mea culpa. You are not familiar with that one either. This man is a bookhead. It looks old and weathered, with seagulls picking apart its stone and metal carcass. Bushy undergrowth has taken hold of the collapsed roof.
That's not surprising. Only a vestigial ink cartridge and ferrotape manufacturer remains. They started out as a midway electronics outfit in Königstein 2 centuries ago. After an aggressive move to Revachol, Feld became a global player in the emerging personal electronics market of the... Still, Tricentennial was beating them in business machines. But Feld had an ace up their sleeve, or should I say they were developing an ace up their sleeve. It was here in Martinez, possibly in this very building, that they developed prototype, an elegant folding mechanism of rollers and ferrotape ribbons, portable enough to be a take-it-home solution, which is a feat of engineering even today's giants, Rehm, ICN and ZAM, haven't. Indeed. What?
The revolution!
Unfortunately, their moonshot project never made it to the market. Feld's move to Revachol backfired. The revolutionary government liquefied their assets, and all of this was built by Feld, even the boardwalk. Wild Pines built Martinez proper as a resort for their middle management. Feld built this side of town for R&D. Oh, I'm afraid it didn't end well for the boys. But this story is a bit too dark for little Mikhail here.
He means that the boys got shot by the communists. The boys were bourgeois.
Tape computers. Actually, no one knows. No one even knows what a computer made entirely of tape would look like. But word has it, they were very elegant, exquisite, alien.
Buckle up.
10 years ago, I did a little freelancing, I guess you could say. I was a special consultant for an exhibition at the Wompty Dumpty Dum Center in Vredefort.
Wait, did he just say Wumpty Dumpty Dum? He did it. He said Wumpty Dumpty Dum Center, like it's the most natural thing in the world. What the hell is a Wumpty Dumpty Dum Center? And who the hell?
The Wumpty Dumpty Dum Center for Contemporary Arts. The exhibition itself drew on Lagerman's notion of memory, and so there were some parallels. That's why the head curator, Paul Ockerman, in fact, I'm not. The Wumpty Dumpty Dum Center is a place you can visit if you're ever in Vredefort and are ever in the market for But perhaps I should return to the tape computers. As I was saying, the device itself was very elegant, fragile even. One could write directly on the tape.
Made of black film and folding tape structures.
Very, very cool. Though I understand the socio-economic causes of the revolution, it pains me to imagine the revolutionary setting fire to this precious device. Yes, the official name of the prototype. Some sources report it as the Feld playback. Who knows? Maybe it was an accident, or maybe they didn't want the technology to end up in the wrong hands. Either way, they're all gone now. All three versions. Yes, they even built a pleasure wheel, but that got destroyed in the war.
A pleasure wheel?
Perhaps reminded of a childhood memory. It's clear he would prefer there were a big wheel lighting up the...
Yes, to lure in their star engineers. This part of Martinez was nothing but reeds before Feld arrived. They had to make the process. But of course, what else? I do have some money, yes, but that's not what's really important here.
No, I mean, come on. You need the money. If it's not a thing, he can give you some.
Oh no, I don't have it on me, officer. I was talking in more general terms. I'm just spending time with my kid here, showing him around the lesser-known parts of our hometown. It wouldn't be wise to carry huge amounts of cash on such a... No, thanks to you for having me and little Mikhail here to pick your brain.
Pick your brain? If anything, this was rather one-sided. He... You see, a once bright mural towering above you. The signage has peeled off. A slogan used to intertwine with the loops a long time ago. Now, only a shadow of peeled letters remains.
Looks like tomorrow never came.
Hello, I'm Gary. How do you do, officer? Yellow man. I mean, officer.
The lieutenant raises his eyebrows slightly and takes out his note. Yellow man. Interesting. This is something to ask him about, after a little probing first.
I'm just waiting for my friend Morel to finish up with his insect traps so we can return to civilization. I like nature, just not this bloody coast. It's mostly drunks and degenerates that come here. Oh, I've been tempted. But someone has to stay strong for Revocol.
He pronounces Revocol with a hard K, unlike other people.
I like to pronounce it the hard way. The old way.
The stupid way? He winks at you, trying to relay some hidden message, inviting you to mispronounce it too. It's a secret rite. A very fringe nationalist handshake, probably.
Oh, so that's what the RCM in Martinez is about. Great. Great to hear someone's finally taking care of that.
So you do know something about it?
No. Nothing. He was some kind of mercenary. But everyone here knows that. I'm just glad to hear you're looking into it. My mug? Why would you think that? I may have had a similar looking mug in the past. That's all. Okay, I admit it. I threw the mug away in the trash container behind the hostel. You're not going to find me, are you?
Using a standard form, officer. It's 50 real. You're getting off easy. In return, we expect information. You have questions to answer, sir.
What did you do, Gary?
Nothing. Just answering some questions. Helping out the law. I know a guy who works with the trash collection services. CS Municipal. He gave me a master key for the trash containers of Martinez. So I can use the Whirling's trash compactor to store my own stuff. Garbage disposal is expensive as hell. I'm sorry, okay? I thought I could cut costs. I shouldn't have.
Disgraced. No need for the histrionics, sir. It was, after all, just a trash container.
He studies his reaction. Gary doesn't answer.
Officer, please. Let me explain. It's not like that. I was only cleaning up. I live right across the yard from where he was hanged, and I saw him stripped naked. Then I came out to clean up the rags because no one else would. Okay. I was coming to throw the mug away, and, well, I threw the mug there and the...
Right. It was just civic duty.
Exactly. That's exactly what it was. Civic duty.
As he shifts uncomfortably, a series of clicks, like the clinking of glass beads against one another as they roll across a hardwood floor. You've heard this sound before, but...
Armor? No. I mean, yes. Of course. I know he was wearing armor. What sound? I haven't the slightest. There's lots of weird stuff out here in the reeds, though. Insects, traps. I hope I could help your investigation, in my small way. Not many Sealites here, or anywhere, other than Sail.
Do you remember how, when we met Measurehead and I said the next races will be a really good one? Well, this is that racist.
Hey, man, all I meant was there are not many Sealites around here. I'm just stating a fact. Oh, yes, of course he is. I was just speaking about his connections.
Sounds like some conspiracy topic. You might be able to discuss it with him when the lieutenant isn't here, if you can remember it.
No. I help Morel with research sometimes, and I've learned some things along the way, but I don't usually go in for picnics like this on my own.
Here we go. Nice and easy. No way out, little guys.
There's a cylinder on the ground in which the man is arranging some netting.
Who's there? Oh, the police. Well, to what do I owe the pleasure?
That's sarcasm. He takes no pleasure from your appearance.
Of course. Thank you for passing along the message. That damn water lock is broken, and we can't go all the way around the A81. Oh, good. We should really be getting back. Gary could use a hot shower and a warm bed.
Did he say we can go back now?
Yes, Gary! We can go soon! If you see Lena, tell her I won't be long.
Sir, your wife is waiting for you.
I just have to do one more round. See if the phasmid has taken the bait. Then we're going. Well, first of all, it's damn difficult to find, which is why we've been knee-deep in the reeds laying traps for it. Good question. Being a phasmid of the order Phantasmodea, a ghost insect, and I suspect it may have also developed other specialised techniques to protect itself from predators. It's my hypothesis that it has evolved certain electrochemical defenses, but I cannot describe how these defenses work. Much like...
Yes, it makes perfect sense. You're beginning to suspect there's something
I'm expecting it to be quite giant. One known species of phasmid, called the Megaphasmodea zoensis, is about the typical rookie assumption. Insects are much more sophisticated creatures than even simply catching a glimpse of the Insulindian phasmid would be the apex of of any cryptozoologist's career. But to study it, very little, I'm sorry to say. No one's ever captured a specimen, so all our information... Not yet. That's what makes it a cryptid.
Just out of curiosity, if there's no proof of its existence, how do you know it's real?
I know it's real.
It's clear that his obsession with the phasmid is driven by something more than the pure pursuit of science.
By which I mean, I've heard enough first-hand accounts to believe quite firmly that the Insulindian phasmid is... Yes, the most recent sighting was by a couple of teenagers along the coast here. It's the first credible sighting in several decades. Admittedly, it's an unusual location for this species, but with all the sewage runoff up, I have to resist the thought. Such an extraordinary creature is doubtlessly highly resilient.
He means asexual reproduction. The females of the species don't need to mate to produce viable eggs. This makes it easier for a species with a small population.
Yes, the Insulindian phasmid is a very clever insect. That's why it's so damn difficult to catch. But as a scientist, I'll try my best to remain... Well, they may not look impressive, but Lena designed them quite cleverly. Yes. Simple. Attracted by the locusts, the phasmid crawls down the funnel, and having... At least, that's the intention. The net isn't a perfect solution, but we didn't want to use anything that might... Locusts. Nearly all known phasmids are herbivores, of course.
Inside the traps, a number of locusts crawl and tumble over one another in a meat-eating stick insect. Does it pretend to be the reeds as part of its ambush behavior? This seems unlikely.
They'll work, I assure you. The predatory hypothesis, using locusts as bait, accounts for the failure of previous efforts by other teams. Yes. What? And I'm eager to return to her, I assure you. My wife understands that just as well as anyone.
Come on, Morel. We've been soaking out here for days. It's time to go back.
And leave the traps? Absolutely not. I won't let Lena down.
Come on, she wants us back. I'm soaked up to my nuts over here.
Won't let Lena down? Sounds like the cryptozoologist's wife shares a special connection to the...
Of course it's important to her. She's seen it. A verified sighting. Yes, that's how we first came to know one another.
Needless to say, you must ask her about the mysterious phasmid.
Suffice to say, it's long been our dream to find proof of the Insulindian phasmid together. Oh, no. The traps need to be monitored on a regular...
He's dead set on this.
I've just always liked animals and puzzles.
He seems reluctant to talk about himself, but he'll open up, if you prod a little.
It's not child's play, just because I have to traipse through the mud every so often. Real. I know you think one is a respectable profession, while the other is superstition. Everyone does. Indeed, my methods do not differ from other scientists. I simply draw upon a wider variety of evidence. No, as I said, I have yet to catch a cryptid, although I have come close. Everything from forgotten regional lore to newspaper accounts.
He's interested in things that people believe that scientists don't.
Most establishment scientists only care about reputation and remuneration, not real research. And no, very few cryptids are ever discovered, and not for a lack of trying. To stay hidden is a cryptid's of the list of cryptids kept by the Cryptozoological Society of Chemney, which is 4,080. Two are categorized as confirmed discoveries. The rest are in differing state. Yes, the Chateauquan forest pygmy, who turned out to be an extinct species of primate. We cryptozoologists are brutally honest with ourselves, more so even than the public. With cryptids, most cryptids are hoaxes or they are never found. Indeed. If our expedition is successful, every paper in the world will report on it.
He has clearly done his math on this. There is no surprising him or...
Yes? No. No, well, he's been a little unenthusiastic about the trip. More so than usual.
He doesn't want to say it, but this is unusual. Gary's been to the jungle with him, to places way more challenging than the...
I didn't expect you to take such an interest in our work here, officer. Caught the bug, I see. It's easier to get caught up in the search than you'd imagine. There are 4 in total. One is to the south. On another we set in Land's End, to the northeast. It's behind a small sand dune there. The third is set near the canal, where you crossed. You should check at least one of those before returning to this one, since I just said it. This one's... That's highly unlikely, officer. But in the event you do... Oh, it's made of musk and research chemicals. The pheromone should attract the insect to you, or at least prevent it from bolting. Wise choice.
I hope you're not buying this. He dispenses it without letting you touch the canister, so it would be precious like holy water.
It is precious. A single dose cost me 50 real to develop. Not that I expect you to understand self-financing one.
Right, which means you two can pack up and go back to the whirling.
Whatever he thinks about this detour, it's clear that these men are exhausted and...
Finally, someone's talking sense.
Thank you for your help. Gary and I will start breaking down camp.
If it's more cryptid-related business you want to discuss. But what if the information is vital? On the hunt. That patch of reeds over there, it's a great place to hide something. Kind of out of the way. Nothing. Just a hunch. The hunch passed.
Hey, Tequila! Good to see you. How's business? How's the whole reality situation treating you. So what's happening?
The noxious odor emanating from the drunken man is...
Don't you call her? Yeah! Don't call Abigail! Uh-huh. Abigail. Don't...
Abigail is his wife or girlfriend. Chances are she's gone. Calling her wouldn't make it any better. You're not going to get anything out of this guy. He's too drunk.
Don't call Abigail! Don't you fucking call her! Hear me! Don't call Abigail!
You stop mid-step and put your hand on the garish necktie.
That bottle, Bratan! Just look at that bottle!
A drop in temperature, an easy flow of air, an empty street. Before you, a thoroughfare unjammed with lorries, chemically sweetened. Across the road, a forgotten bus stop. Corrosion has opened a hole in it. The road is smooth and motley, craters filled with a black asphalt. The asphalt, first laid, is a tub warm with water, white with soap. A man bathes while radio waits. His boyfriend is on his way home. He brings tins of meat and vegetables with him. Number 312D. Young girls used to come here, huddled up, hoping for more warmth than their thin coats give them. Craters pocked the surface. Children played in them until heavy truck. There's one bump on the road. A dead dog lies flat about 200 paces away. Tragedy comes from the wheels of a fast RCM vehicle, hurrying to work. The cold washes over you. The wind moves the aerosol. A detective stands behind the boom barrier. A breeze moves a curl of his hair.
Our tenant, the policeman. I hope the waves don't keep you up at night. What can I help you with?
It's the ledger you found in the trash. A cabbage of papers hanging from the board, with the permeables drawer inside. It's barely held together by a clip, then made complete by the faint smell of urinal cleaner. The two sides of the board appear slightly misaligned, like a drawer that's come off its slides. The slides snap back into place. It should be possible to just... Without resistance or sound, the two panels move against two ticket stubs and a handmade postcard. Two octopuses are smiling, reaching their tentacles toward each other in the colored pencil drawings. The tickets permit access to the zoo in Revachol East. The aquarium costs extra. These let you go there too. Thin wax paper has been glued to a piece of cardboard. Sounds like leaves rustling when you pick it up. It smells of chewing gum, apricot flavored, a touch of cinnamon, the end of summer. You think the late familiar handwriting lines the inside of the card. A young woman in her 20s. There is care, effort, and Harry, it begins. You're already reading. I wanted to write you a letter so you can read it when you wake up. Maybe it will make you happy. Throw it away, please. Your hand shakes holding the card. Every morning when I step out and you're asleep behind me, it says, every step I take, it grows. By the time I reach the fuel station, it has filled me entirely. I step onto the light rail and look back. You. Every step I take will get lighter. It almost makes me run. Sometimes I do. I can't believe I met you. I can't believe the happiness I feel with kisses, kisses, kisses. You feel the air sucked out of your lungs and the blood sucked out of your head. You feel the ledger slip from your hand. No, hold on. To what? There's nothing.
Detective, is everything all right? There is nothing.
You see, a slogan.
Looks like...
Hello? Yellow man.
The lieutenant. Yellow man.
I'm just waiting for... I like nature. Oh.
So you...
No. My mug? Why would you think that? I may have had a similar looking mug in the past. Okay, you're not going to find me.
Using a standard... It's 50...
What did you...
Nothing! I know a guy, so I can... I'm sorry.
Disgraced.
He studies his reaction.
Officer, please. I was only cleaning up. Then I... Okay.
Right.
Exactly.
As he shifts uncomfortably, a series...
What? I haven't the slightest. Armor? No. I hope I could help your No. Not many...
Do you remember how... Well, this...
Hey, man. Oh.
Sounds like some conspiracy topic.
Here we go.
There's...
Who's there? To what?
That's...
Hey, of course. Oh, good.
Did he say...
Yes, Gary.
Sir.
I just have to do... Good question. And I smart, but I can't...
Yes.
I'm typical. Even simply... Very... Not...
It's...
By which I mean... I've heard... Yes. It's the first... I have to resist...
He means asexual.
Yes. Insolent... Well... Yes. At least... Locust.
Inside a meat-eating...
Thank you.
Not a big fan of...
They'll work. Yes. What? And I'm my wife
Come on,
and leave.
come on.
What?
Of course. Yes.
Needless to...
Suffice to say, no.
He's dead set on...
I didn't expect you to take such an interest. Caught the bug-ass. Another. The third. You should bring it to... That's high. It's made of musk and research. What?
I hope you're not...
It is precious.
Right.
Whatever he thinks.
Final.
Thank you for...
If it's more... But what if the information...
I've just...
He seems reluctant.
Real. Indeed. No. It's not child. No. Of the list, two... Yes. Weak. Indeed.
He has clearly done his...
Everything from...
He's
Most establishments. Yes. Well...
He doesn't want to say it. A drop in temp. Chemically, the road is a tub. His boyfriend is on number. Craters. There's one tragedy. The wind. You stop me.
That bot!
Hey, good to So what's happened?
Wrong.
The noxious oak.
Don't you call her? Uh-huh.
Abigail, you're not.
Don't you fucking call her! Don't call her! Don't!
You take the legal documents out of the envelope.
Our tenant, the policeman. I hope the waves don't.
There's a trap in the reeds at your feet. The reeds bend forlornly toward the sand. The constant, distant song, louder on this. Locusts are crawling around in the trap.
Big surprise. Anyway, 1 down, 3 to go.
You set the apparatus back on. Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone, a pull-out.
This is Precinct 57. How may I assist you? Hold on, officer. I've got Central Jamrock Public Library on the line, and I've already introduced you to the librarian.
Yes, this is Central Jamrock Public Library here. How can I help you, officer?
He sounds worried, yet ready to assist. This is how people get when the police call.
Billy Majon, you said. Give me a moment, I'll have to check our database. Yes, hello, are you still there? I found Billy Majon's home address, is that alright? No phone number, unfortunately.
They're too poor to have a phone line.
Here we go, sir. Rue de Saint-Ghislain, 33B, apartment number 20. It's in Martinez, I believe. Cape Side.
That's where the smoker on the balcony lives, isn't it?
It says here that they returned their last book just a few days ago, but I wasn't at work that day. Marie? Marie? Do you remember a reader named Billy Majon? They returned a Tybalt book the other day. Yes, it was my colleague Marie. She said that it was Billy's husband who returned the book. He also asked for this new sci-fi release, Lowe's Radio City 87, but we don't have it yet.
Good. You have a name now.
Marie knows Billy. She's been working here longer than me. Sometimes her husband returns some books for her.
And then goes for a little drink later. On the lookout.
Sorry, no. Marie only knows him by sight. Marie? She said it was an older man, and that she's pretty sure he'd had a drink or two the last... 1 second. Sorry, Marie wasn't really paying any attention to that. Happy we could help. Goodbye, officer.
Anything else you need from me? 1 moment. Can you please describe the body? Age, sex, cause of death?
We suspect he might have been inebriated when he fell. There were bottles all around him, and traces of vomit on his shirt.
Any signs of violence? No field autopsy necessary.
You can hear her quickly typing in the background.
What about his belongings? Did you examine his clothes? Any information on the library card? Good. You have a lead. Do you and Lieutenant Kitsuragi want to take the case, or should I assign it to someone else? I have assigned the case to Lieutenant Kim Kitsuragi. Please follow up on this library lead to identify the man. We'll send someone to take the body to the morgue. That's all for now. Thank you for reporting in. Is that 57th over and out?
In the cabin, you see a set.
Hi again, gendarme. Bye-bye, gendarme.
Can I help you?
What is this thing?
Okay, well, this is actually a nice bird. A competent piece of taxidermy. I can fix it to the plaque and have a new bird in the establishment, I guess. So, I don't know. Thank you.
People just don't know how to accept gifts, especially taxidermy.
I feel good about our work here today. It's all about the little things, like bringing people random stuffed animals.
It's not actually about that, but he liked it.
Oh, hello, dear. There you are again. Oh, you don't want to hear about some old woman's ramblings.
Reflexively, the lieutenant read his familiar notebook.
Well, it was summer. I was building a racing track out of sand on the beach near a tall stand of reeds. Quite a tall one. Many times my height, I remember. I'm getting ahead of myself. I was 5.5 in Betancourt in the suburbs.
She'd just started forming memories. Real memories. Not the Betancourt got bombed in the war. It used to be quite near.
The strangest moment of my life. I looked up and one of the reeds moved. Not like a plant, but like a living thing. I didn't know this can happen, so I reached my arm and touched the thing. It felt just like a stalk of reed, but it moved, swaying, towering above me. I tried, but I was only a child. There was mud and high water. I couldn't see it anymore. I was just...
Where did you go? Don't go.
I ran back home to my grandmother and asked her if reeds could walk. For years, it was a story I told at parties when I wanted to impress boys. That sort of thing. Of course, we were on our first date when I told him my story. You should have seen his face.
So that's how they met. This is beyond significant for them.
Our first, yes. Not all of them, as far as I remember. Some of them, on the inside, like stalks of marble, if that makes sense. It's hard to say how big things are when you're quite small yourself. To me, it seemed to be...
What if it is the case?
You're welcome, sweetie. I do appreciate the chance to relive it whenever...
And she could get up and walk right into the reeds on her own, into the mud, anywhere.
Goodness, how is he? Did he say why he hasn't returned yet?
He's fine, ma'am. As we had suspected, he couldn't get back earlier because the water lock on the canal was broken.
Oh, yes. That's my Morel. But I am so relieved to hear that he's okay.
You haven't, however. There are dangers out there. Our aging body's foul. Now maybe she'll open up about those fascinating cryptids. Whoa. A bridge with loose nails and rot-infested wood that creaks in the wind. A construction code violation. Guess so. Just be careful out there. One.
Give me a moment. It's about Victor, isn't it? It's always about Victor with her. You'll find...
This door is made of metal. A weathered brown door. The number reads... Something smells good. Soup allongio. The lieutenant motions to you to go ahead and knock. This is the door. You already know it's the right door. This is going to be so hard.
Don't knock! Just leave! You don't need this! You don't need to sad it up!
Hello? Who is it?
And someone turns down the radio.
The police. A moment, please give us a moment.
Tidying up. Nervously. There's fear in her voice.
Come in, the door is open. It's you from the bookstand. I don't think I introduced myself properly. I'm Billy. Would you like something to drink? Tea?
The lieutenant has taken off his foggy glasses and is busy cleaning them in his handkerchief for now. Your condensation from stepping inside. He must feel vulnerable without his glasses. Is this why he's letting you take the lead?
Is this about Victor, my husband? Is he in some kind of trouble again? No, this is something much worse. Is he in a hospital? How bad is it?
How about some small talk before you break the news? Definitely no small talk. This isn't the time or place. You've done this before. Just keep your focus.
What did you say? Oh. Oh. But he was just...
But he was just here. Alive.
We understand this comes as a huge shock. I want you to know that me and my partner are here for you if you have any questions. Take your time, ma'am.
What happened to him? Was he drunk? I see. And you just found him there. How long had he been there?
If you say 2 days maybe. It will be etched in her mind forever. She blinks, eyes welling up with tears, as her hand starts searching for something from the pockets of her dress.
Here.
No, no. I just need to tell my girls. God, should I call them? Should I tell them to come home?
No. A day.
Good. That's probably the right thing. Thank you. Just tell me, what do I need to do next? Where is he? Can I see him?
We've taken him to the city morgue. The local coroner will be contacting you shortly to arrange the funeral. Is there anything else that the RCM could do for you?
No, I'll call you if something comes up. Thank you. Thank you for telling me. I'll call if...
We should step outside and talk. You did well. You did enough. Can't save the whole world, you know.
Can't bring the dead back.
I'll call the station when we're finished with the day, and let them know the name of the deceased. They'll manage. That's it. We should get back to our case now that our duty here is done. Let's go.